Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Let's continue playing a little No Fence Riders, guys. We got 4 more questions, a quick weekend preview, super chats, and trivia to wrap up today's show. Next one, who will average more points per game next season for the Cleveland Cavaliers? Evan Mobley or James Harden? This was not a close vote, and it shouldn't be. And the majority of us are on the right side of history. Earl, Chris, Jay, Bull, Tyvis, Dustin, myself, and Jason all said Evan Mobley on the right side of the fence, while Zach and G are on the wrong side of the fence.
I don't know that I agree. I didn't feel that confident. I felt like kind of a silly saying Mobley, but even though I picked Mobley. We want that to happen, but I'm not convinced. I feel like I only picked Mobley because the only way the Cavs can be better is if Mobley becomes a better player. But I'm not convinced it's going to happen. Do you think it's obvious because you think Harden is going to go backwards or because Mobley is going to go forward?
No, I think by the Cavs' actions this summer of basically telling us they view Evan Mobley as the franchise pillar here, they're going to utilize him more offensively.
But why haven't they done it in the past?
They should have. We've talked about that at
But
length.
what makes you think they'll just do it now?
They have at times. They have. I think Harden's going to
go off the cliff?
No, I think he's just going to fall into a point guard role.
Okay.
That's the other part of this, yeah.
I look at it, man. Evan Mobley has to take that leap. He has to be that guy. The Cavaliers are all in the Evan Mobley business. They put all their eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
And it's time for him to take the leap that he didn't take last year that everybody thought he was.
Yeah.
In order for the Cavaliers to reach their ultimate goal at this point especially, Evan Mobley absolutely has to become that dude. We heard Donovan Mitchell challenge him to it last year.
Yeah.
We heard Kobe Altman do it and Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah.
I get it. Growth and development is not always like linear, but this year it absolutely has to be that year. And I don't care how many people think that Evan Mobley can become that guy. Boy, if Evan Mobley don't believe that himself, it don't matter.
That's right.
It hits a whole lot different when everybody else think you good and you don't even believe so internally. So hopefully this entire offseason has been spent like in the gym, gaining weight, putting muscle on, working on his game. And as he's worked on his game, hopefully you've seen results that have built some internal confidence.
Yeah.
So that way when the season starts, you step out here and you can take a massive jump and become that guy, because that is the best chance the Cavaliers have right now of still being a title contender, in my opinion.
The LeBron James and his team did Evan Mobley dirty, in my opinion. I got no beef with LeBron not coming here, but I think what they've kind of put out there has been unfair to Mobley.
Well,
put him in a bad spot.
Their point was Donovan. They think they should have traded Donovan.
Well, but there's been a lot about whatever. I don't agree. Well, but they've said, ultimately it was Jaylen Brown for Mobley.
Well, but their
or
camp,
for Giannis.
The LeBron camp,
Yeah.
the rich, let's just name
Yeah.
it.
It's lame what they've done, I think.
It was more of a Donovan. They wanted LeBron and Mobley together. Their point was more trade Donovan for
Jaylen Brown, but the Celtics, that didn't make sense for the Celtics.
Celtics never would have made that.
Yeah,
trade.
that doesn't make any sense. So anyway, but maybe I said there's a lot of pressure's been put on Mobley, but maybe he's using it as motivation.
I hope he is.
I hope so too. It would be great if he became a superstar.
All I know is when you,
I don't have a lot of
as
faith,
a front office and a team,
Yeah.
say this is the guy, and you make moves that point to that,
then make him the guy.
you got to make him the guy. You got to treat him like that.
Because we've already learned you can't win a championship at this point with James Harden and Donovan Mitchell as the guy. So the only hope is Mobley, even though I don't have a lot of faith personally.
All right, next one. Dead even split. My favorite question of the No Fence Riders this week. What is more likely to happen this upcoming season? The Browns making the playoffs or the Cavs making the NBA Finals? Earl, Tyvis, G, Jason, myself are on the side with the Browns making the playoffs.
Wow.
While Bull is joined by Dustin, Jay, Zach, and Chris Renkel on the side of the Cavs,
I'm not
to
sure
make the
what's
finals.
more shocking. that Jason's on that side or that Jay's on the other side.
Everyone answered. I did not assign anyone to this.
That
This is
a
all legitimate
stunner,
answers.
Jason.
But-
You said,
I mean, I don't think either one's
of
happening.
course neither one's happening.
But gun to my head, I got to pick something. I think there's more top teams in the East ahead of the Cavs. There's always one or two rando teams that make the NFL playoffs.
But first of all, outside of maybe the Sixers and the Knicks,
yeah,
is anybody else clearly better than the Cavs?
clearly better?
I don't think
No,
so.
probably
No.
Okay.
not.
And
But we say that in July.
I hear you. It's not unreasonable that those two could play each other in the Eastern Conference semis, even though they might be the two best teams, because as you guys have talked about, like you never know with the regular season.
Correct.
And with injury, 1 or 2 injuries in the NBA can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. But there's always 1 or 2 teams at the bottom of the playoffs that nobody ever talks about. Again, you're asking me 10% versus 5%.
You think there's a 10% chance the Browns
5% versus 3%, whatever.
Okay.
I just think that at the bottom of the NFL, there's so much variation. No, I don't think either one of these is going to happen. It was a great question because that's absurd.
Yeah.
But
I don't think
Thank you very much.
Nobody's been more negative. What's funny is I've probably been more negative on the Cavs than anybody here.
probably.
And yet I thought this was a no-brainer.
But I mean, it's
And
so
I don't think
hard to make the NBA Finals.
I
It's
agree.
So hard.
I agree.
It's not that hard to make the NFL playoffs. It's not.
You're right. It's harder. However, the Cavs are a much better team than the Browns.
Totally
are.
agree with that.
So I just looked at the East and I said, okay, besides the Knicks and Sixers, like the Cavs are as good as anybody else. And I'm not even convinced that the Knicks, at least, are that much better than they were just much better in the playoffs.
I still think Boston is pretty good too.
They are, but
think
so are
Boston is
Cavs.
good.
Like we've gone too far in being down on the Cavs.
I don't like.
So like a couple of injuries, I think a lot. I think there's way more that has to happen for the Browns to make the playoffs. Even though, yes, in a vacuum, making the playoffs is easier than making the NBA
I
Finals.
think the AFC North is a toss-up outside of Cincinnati. And I think
And
it's
Baltimore.
a toss-up with them as well because of Joe Burrow's availability. But if you look at the AFC North, everybody else got brand new coaches. You know, Baltimore lost a lot of key players. I know they still got Lamar Jackson, and that's huge and all that. But and just look at the AFC in general. I mean, to Jason's point, parity is king in the league. And it's just always 1 or 2 teams that you think are going to be right there in it, and they're not. And there's always teams that come out of nowhere and surprise you and get that 7th seed or that 6th seed. So
anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
But the Browns on paper are at best the 3rd worst team in the AFC.
And by the way, you're not the most negative person on the show when it comes to the Cavs.
Who's that? You?
No.
Who?
That would be Garrett Bush.
No. Who's more negative on the Cavs?
Garrett Bush.
G or me?
Big picture, Bull in the immediate aftermath of everything, probably G.
If the Cavs do something G don't like, G is talking about the Cavs with his chest out with so much energy and passion.
G tweets negatively about the Cavs more than you do.
Yeah, I don't really tweet about them much. I don't tweet much in general.
That was a good question.
Yeah,
I was proud of myself for that
Apparently so.
Good job, Mike.
Is that the last one?
Well, we have one more.
Yeah.
We're going to do it really quick. Go to 8, Steve.
Oh, we got 5 minutes still.
Oh, we still got weekend preview, super chats, and trivia I want to get to. So we'll do this one real quick. From here on out, who will play more games for the 76ers? Joel Embiid or LeBron James?
I like this one too. That was hard.
This was also a dead even split.
Wow.
Chris, Bull, Tyvis, myself, and Jason said Embiid. Earl, Zach, Jay, Dustin, and G said LeBron.
I mean, where's it? Do you think Embiid's going to be going somewhere else? I know he misses a lot of games, but
he does miss a lot of games. LeBron has missed some games in recent
years.
Right,
but LeBron's probably only going to play 1 more year, right? Probably,
he might play
maybe 2.
He might play 2. I think.
So let's say LeBron plays 2 years. Plays what? 100 games for the Sixers over 2 years. 120.
I wouldn't go 120.
100.
Embiid's played 96 games in the last 3 years.
Right, but isn't Embiid going to keep being on the Cavs for the foreseeable future?
He's saying he's healthy and feels great right now.
I just picked Embiid because I just assume he's going to be on the Sixers longer, even though he gets hurt.
He's got 3 years on his deal. LeBron had a 2-year deal, so it's to get more.
He did say he's healthy. Did you see Anthony Davis?
No.
His target games for this upcoming season
was what?
82.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not
good luck with that, Anthony. I hope for him he does. You know. All right, let's get the super chats, Mike.